Let me go ahead and get this this thing set up. How are you doing today, Danny?
Airhead is good.
You having a good day?
Good in the north.
Yeah, pretty well, thanks.
Have you been working on anything special? I know Teal said he's working on something for update 13 today.
Yeah, for me it's actually update 14. So.
14. More technical assets and whatnot?
Airhead
yes,
is open,
just regular assets and
Spawn on it.
Well, setting up the technical
Work your way down the trench
make the assets
north, going south.
be there.
Got it. Well, I guess I just turned my volume down in game. Now's a good time as any to get it started. Well, chat, to all my new fans out here and whatnot in the game, anybody who's new to the stream and tuning in just now, oh man, we are once again blessed to have a gorgeous HLL developer amongst us, and this guy likes to view our stream regularly. For whatever reason, I do not know. Maybe he likes the squishes. Maybe he likes the soundboard memes. Maybe he likes the music. I have no idea. But he does watch the stream regularly, and now he's here and chat with us. Ready to answer questions that you guys have. I guess I can open up some of the questions for it just to introduce you. So Danny, when did you first get involved with making HLL?
But you can't.
Oh, that is... oh man, that's a couple of years ago. When was that? 5-6 years ago, I think.
5 to 6 years ago. I mean, it's like 2017, right? At this point, game was like an alpha concept in 2017. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. 5 years, 1 month ago.
5 years, 1 month ago, you started making HLL. What was that like? How did you get brought on board?
That was by Max. He saw my my portfolio work, and yeah, he sent out a message saying, you know, hey, you're interested in working on a new upcoming game? I was like, wow, yeah, and he showed me some cool, most likely unreleased images, maybe unreleased images of
unreleased images, even today.
I'm actually not sure if they were public, but you know, like it was like the Urgent Forest version 1, way before anyone. I think some of the images were in game actually in some of the paintings. Used to be on some paintings. I think I replaced it. But yeah, that was like way long time ago, and I was like, yeah, this looks really cool, you know, really interesting. And yeah, you know, the ball started rolling. I joined in, and we actually started working a bit on the Urgent Forest, but mainly focusing on Samurai du Monde. But yeah, setting that up, the first one.
Wow. All right. Yeah. So that's a long time of development there for starters. What did you, when you first got brought on board, what did you start working on? Like almost immediately. What was like your kind of part of the development process?
First was a couple of foliage assets and also the town of Samurai du Monde. Yeah, those were the first assets. Yeah, mainly the focus was around the town because that was like going to be the trailer material. So yeah, that's.
Gotcha. Goodness gracious. All right. And so you talked about, we've talked about assets a lot on stream. What really is an asset for those who don't really know much about game development? What really is an asset in HLL?
An asset is, there can be one or more static meshes combined into a little area, a little diorama, and then put into the map. An asset is, it's a bit of a broad term. It's not. It's really a broad term. Mesh, but yeah, it's like a, yeah, we use it for just, yeah, all the meshes, you know, the buildings, the little embankments with buildings and sandbags, a truck that's surrounded again with sandbags, trench areas. But basically everything you see visually can be almost described as assets.
So visual objects and things, for the most part, is the most common thing that we can think of when describing and thinking about.
All right, let's see what this last one.
About about assets. We think about like objects in the game, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. DannyArt Object Master, everybody. 5-year Object Master, 5-year Object Veteran. And he still develops them to this day. Now, putting aside the main job title and description, let's talk about what DannyArt is known for, everybody. He's notorious for his awesome sense of humor. He also is absolutely well known for his astounding and astonishing amount of Easter eggs that he puts into Hell Let Loose. At this point, I would love to definitely ask the question, Danny, how many Easter eggs have you put into Hell Let Loose? If you could come up with a guesstimate of a number. How many do you think you've done?
Oh, it's I think between like 75 and 100.
75 to 100. That is your best guesstimate.
I guess, yeah. It can be small things, large things.
On my peaks, I'm working.
Yeah, some things are removed, some things are added. It's a bit rough, you know, like how you count.
Yeah, definitely. Do you then have, think about those 75 to 100 Easter eggs that you have smuggled into Hell Let Loose. Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I actually do.
Is it something you'd be willing to share?
Yes and no. Well, basically, yeah, you know what? You're right. I'm gonna, you know, my most favorite one is actually Max's face on one of the tech maps.
Max's face on a tactical map?
Yep.
You
It's
smuggled
been
Max's
there since the
face
start,
into a
yeah.
tactical map?
Yeah, it's never been
What?
found. Yeah, it's there. It's been there since the alpha, and
No.
yes, no one has.
And no one's found it yet? Are you effing kidding me?
Yeah.
Is it a tactical map that's still used today? Like we're playing on
Yeah,
it still?
I-
It's not one of the
yeah.
retired ones.
No. Well, you can also see it on one of the retired ones. It just moved through the game over the past years.
What the fuck?
Reactions in the chat. Okay, yeah.
Okay, hang on a second. It
Yeah.
can be seen on one of the... Let me take a look at this. This is... You smuggled Max's face into a tactical map. Hell Let Loose, Saint, SMDM V1 TAC map. I've got to look at this.
Yeah, you're not gonna find it because it's been there for years, you know? Like, when you see it, you're like, wow, okay, how could I have missed it? But
It's got to be, like, so meta. You either, like, built it across the entire blessed map or you didn't. I'm looking at this, like, wide angle. I'm never going to find it. This is totally not worthy of my stream time right now. But, like, okay. He smuggled Max's face into a tactical map. That is astonishing, bro. That is just... That's ridiculous. Okay. Guys, you're gonna have to find it at some point. Look at all the tactical maps for Hell Let Loose, and at some point you're gonna have to find it. I'm not gonna do it right now because we're gonna be sifting through tac maps all day.
If you sit next to it,
Oh my god, I don't know how the hell you did that. That is
yeah,
ridiculous.
it's been there since the alpha, so now it's out. So,
Yeah, alright, fair enough. Putting aside that Easter egg, are there other Easter eggs that have never been discovered in the game yet?
Yeah. There are dozens still unfound, and I've been monitoring all the channels. So yeah, good luck. They can be small, something completely, you know, for people meaningless.
Oh my
but maybe
god.
some are pretty meaningful. So
That is nuts. Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead and continue. Yeah.
No, yeah, the most controversial ones were the gnomes, but yeah, sadly they have departed. But,
Why were the gnomes controversial?
Yeah, you know, the gnomes, like, yeah, it was a bit on the line, I would say.
Why were the gnomes on the line? I actually don't know what this references. Why were they on the line?
You haven't seen the
If
Really?
I've seen the gnomes, maybe it was once, and, like, I don't understand what was on the line. I mean, you didn't, like, dress up a couple of, like, a bunch of gnomes in Nazi uniforms or something,
yeah,
right?
yeah, and
That's-
Hitler was greeting them from a balcony, and
What? You dressed up a bunch of gnomes in Nazi uniforms and had Hitler greeting them from a balcony, and that was too on the line to the point in which they were removed from the game. Are you freaking kidding me?
Well, it was a bit, you know, like, yeah, they aren't...
That was pushing it, especially for Germany. I mean, like, Germany definitely didn't want to see that in the game. Oh my god. How long did that exist in the game?
A couple of months.
A couple of months? Like when? A couple of months when?
A couple of updates back here. They have departed some time ago. But yeah,
You said like beta? Is that what you said? Beta?
No, I think it's one of the updates.
One of the updates, you shoved in a bunch of gnomes. Who pulled you aside and told you we have to get rid of this? Was it Team 17 or Max?
I actually don't know. They had to depart, which is okay.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's just like, it's really funny to see, because you're just like, you're your own guy just doing shenanigans. You know, it's like one guy doing shenanigans for Hell Let Loose in his spare time doing stuff, you know, and like these Easter eggs come in and about. I think you were also responsible for the Scarecrow, right? The Nazi dressed up Scarecrow at you. You know, on Omaha Beach, was that also you? The scarecrows that we see around the map as assets? Yeah, that was you. Yeah, my friends, no, I can't say that on stream. I'll tell you that later. So, long story short, you're just like giggling around building these things, and eventually, like some of these things have never been caught, and eventually some of these things do get found, and then, yeah, the developers and like the publisher have to get behind the scenes and be like, yeah, so we like your humor, buddy, but we can't keep this. That is
you, in the main Discord.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
you search for the tag, the name gnome. You can see that some people were like, there was a hysteria over the gnomes, and I can't remember what happened. But
oh my god.
maybe you can just, you know, go back into the search results and then figure out what exactly went.
Oh man. Well, I tell you what, my chat finds those gnomes hilarious. If you got a screenshot of them, I'll gladly take a look at it. Tattoo asked the question, who is on the golden coin?
That's Will Bullen.
That's Will who?
Yeah. Will Bullen, one of the mappers that was that
What's
joined
his like alias?
Wasn't that just Will Bullen?
Really? Is it just Will Bullen? I don't think I've seen that name floating around the official Hell Let Loose Discord. He might be one of the guys that's kind of like in the closet, as it were, as a developer.
Wait, let me just find his art station.
Apparently it's one of the Hell Let Loose mappers. There you go.
Here, yeah, I just sent it into...
It's Will Bullen? Okay, hang on. I'll definitely take a look at this. Okay. Danny just sent it. Here we go. It's Will Bullen. He is an environmental artist. Oh, here it is. Yeah, that's definitely him.
Yeah.
Yep, out of the United Kingdom. Will Bullen right there. That's cool. He's got an art station like that. Okay. So let me go ahead and drop that down there. He's an environmental artist and level designer based in the United Kingdom with more than 6 years of professional experience. Oh, that's really awesome. So he's a part of the mapping department and he does environmental work. That's really cool. I found a gold coin on a silo in Carentan recently, according to Tattoo.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
House 75.
Let me catch up with chat and see if any of these guys have any questions right here. We're still getting over the shock of this. Are there any Easter eggs that are inside jokes that only developers would understand?
Sorry, I was searching for the gnomes. Can you repeat that one?
Yeah, no worries. Are there any inside joke Easter eggs that only the developers would understand?
No, like most of them should be community oriented.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there's some exceptions, like, I think it was Greetson, I can't remember if it was Greetson or Gothic who lost a pet. I think it was a dog, and there's a gravestone for that. And so, I mean, that's not, like, funny Easter egg or whatever, but it's still, like, you know, like a memorial there for that, right? And so that's kind of, like, not exactly something the community would be as tuned into, right? But, yeah. Like, if that's what it is for, like, the most part, is, yeah, community-oriented Easter eggs. That's awesome. What inspired you to do the donkey from Worms on St. Mary-Galise?
That's an easy one. I've been a huge fan of Worms ever since I was a child.
Really?
Yeah, my first Worms game was on a... I still have it. It's on a Game Boy Color cartridge. And I played that game day in, day out with like a little light on the back of the touch on the back of the Game Boy. I had battery extenders crammed into that Game Boy, like all kinds of modifications just to play Worms.
Oh my god. I did not realize you were such a fan. Well, Team 17 getting partnered up must have been a hell of an exciting announcement for you when you found that out.
Yeah. When we first, when I first heard that, I was like, wow, these are the guys who made Worms. You know, one of my youth games. So like, really cool.
All right, well, there you go on that one. Let me go ahead and take a look. Argento jokingly asks, are we going to have a new soundboard Easter egg anytime soon? Guys, I'm grateful to have one. Don't need to pressure the man. Good
no, don't worry. Like, yeah, when the time is done, when we have more time, yeah, we can totally look into that.
Yeah, do as you please, buddy. I'm grateful to have one is enough. Honestly, it's kind of hilarious just to actually be part of the game like that. Let me take a look at this. Jason asks if you've added the Kilroy yet. Apparently, this is like a common question, is has he added the Kilroy yet? I have no idea what it refers to at all.
So I can explain that, unless Danny wants to.
Yeah, no, it's it's just the decal of Kilroy was here, but right now, that was it just ran out of time for update 12, so
Nothing wrong with that.
Slightly further away, but yeah, it's still on the list.
Yep, alright, still on the list. Alright, that's awesome. Danny said some time ago he had a surprise for us today. I'd really like to know what that is. Does anybody remember that conversation? I do not, Machine Gun. I do know that there is... I do remember there being a surprise that I was going to reveal today, which I would like to talk about now.
Yeah. I think that was the surprise, right?
Yeah, that should be it. Yes, you are the only one in that tank. Good luck. I'm going to go ahead and redeploy. So, guys, I will show you guys, to all of you guys who tuned into the stream late, I will show you our surprise for today. Let me go ahead and show you guys the, let me go ahead and show you guys the surprise for today. So, DannyArt received a piece of feedback in the Hell Let Loose Discord.
God damn it, Soundboard. If only you would have stayed up here.
If only, sorry, I'm too busy interviewing a developer right now. Yeah, so let's take a look at this, guys. So, Danny received a piece of feedback in the Hell Let Loose Discord about, oh, what do you think, Danny? Like, maybe in April? I think it was like April or May. And the piece of feedback was that these big artillery bunkers right here, guys, should have interiors. These radio bunkers right here should have interiors. Somebody said, why can't we walk into these? It would be so cool if we could walk into these. And Danny spent the next 2 days building an interior in his spare time for these bunkers. And these things are on multiple maps. Hill 400, Utah Beach, Omaha Beach. I'm trying to think of some of the others where I've seen this. Oh, Danny, surely there's more than just 3 maps. I'm missing a couple here. St. Marie Dumont, maybe? No, St. Marie Dumont doesn't have one of these.
You sure?
No, I don't think so. Omaha, it's got Omaha, Utah, and, Omaha, Utah, and Hill 400. Those 3 definitely have it. These things are common. I know that there's more of them. I just can't remember exactly where.
Yeah, no worries.
But yes, guys, St. Marie Dumont, northeast of the map. Right, northeast of the map on St. Marie Dumont. You're right. Yep, St. Marie Dumont has one. So yes, Danny, this is an example, guys, of how developers respond to feedback in the game. And when you're lucky enough to have a developer like Danny, he actually goes the extra mile in his personal life. and spends time designing stuff like this for you guys, okay?
I would guess it's around.
I'm just saying. This is a wonderful piece of work and a fantastic example of something I've been waiting to share for you guys for months. And it's something that Danny did in 2 days. Absolutely awesome.
What happened?
Absolutely freaking awesome. Alright, back to the normal world. Back to the normal world here. Alright, I am out of the admin cam. We need another tank, don't we? Alright, I'm going to the mid.
Yep, we're at mid.
I'll join you at mid.
I got killed by
I can't build any garrisons.
Alright, devs who actually care, exactly. The exact opposite of a AAA studio. Yeah, I wanted to share that for you guys for a while. Let's take a look at this. Oh, here's the gnomes. Oh my god. Alright, we found the gnomes. Here are the gnomes right here. Oh my god. These things don't look like they're dressed up. These things don't look like they're dressed up like Nazis. Like, what the hell? I see binoculars with like a skull or something on it. This doesn't look that controversial. Oh, these things are freaking everywhere. I love it. Yeah, these things don't look that bad. Unless you're hiding some of the crazier photos out there so I don't get, like, banned from Twitch or something. Oh, man, those things are awesome, man. I love them.
Yeah, but there was like a whole, like, yeah, just check up on the history in the Discord channel.
I will. Yeah, I'll have to. Apparently everybody
There's a
else
whole
will as well.
controversial situation, yeah.
Can I get a medium tank in the middle, please? Alright, well, good gravy. Putting Easter eggs aside, let me take a look at this. I'm happy for the open bunkers. Awesome, Ohio. That's great. That's perfect for doing some roleplay. Got a drink out of my canteen. Yeah, a little bit. Let me scroll up and grab some extra questions for you guys. Out of chat here. What is Danny's favorite thing he has ever worked on?
That
Is it the gnomes?
Yeah, but it is actually the landing ships.
Yeah, the new landing ships that came in today.
They were planned since the first release of Omaha.
I will catch up with you guys. I need to show this on admin cam. Go. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to show you guys the landing ships. To anybody who has not played Hell Let Loose today, I'm going to show this to you now. Let me do home here. There we are. Welcome to the beaches here, and take a look at this. This right here, these are landing ships that apparently have been planned for the beaches of Omaha since Update 2, which came out in October 2019. I was told by Teal earlier today that you built these ships in 36 hours.
Yeah, it was really quick. Yeah.
How did you... You built this in 36 hours?
Yeah, I was really enthusiastic.
You were really enthusiastic. Did you sleep when you built it, at least? Or were you hopped up on that meth-loaded chocolate the Germans had?
The chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was... Yeah, I waited years for this.
For the opportunity. Yeah, this is what you were so excited about that you were hiding from us in chat for, like, all this time.
Yeah, and now that they are finally here, I was like, yes! And I just worked straight onto this.
36 hours, ladies and germs. You want to talk about talent. It's well recognized both internally and externally of the Hell Let Loose community. Goodness gracious me, buddy. Yeah, that is monstrous. Second biggest asset in the game, too.
Yeah,
by
the
far.
Bridges were the first one, and then it's the second one.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is absolutely nuts. Didn't you also design these right here, these particular ships in the background?
Yeah.
As well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember these. Yeah, these like decorative things out on the horizon there for the map. Yeah, I remember us talking about this, I think, with Pavlov when we found this. That's a funny story we'll have to share sometime. All right. Yeah. One of the
developers, one of the developers' family member was also in this part of the war, and as a tribute, I added one unique boat in the distance where that person served on during the war.
Right, the silhouette. Yeah, the silhouette of the boat. You could tell that it was a unique asset, and that's how you could tell that it was yours. I don't ever want to think of things I do not accomplish in a 36-hour time frame. Jesus. It's like, yeah, what did you do in the last 36 hours? Danny built a boat. What did you guys do? What did you guys do? Eat, pissed, slept, and, you know, worked like a regular 9-to-5 job. Danny built that. Good Lord. Danny, how long have you been doing asset modeling, and what program do you make them in?
Well, first of all, the program, it's quite wide. It can be Maya is my main program, but occasionally jump into Blender for the occasional simulations or at the moment geometry nodes. So yeah, Blender, and then from time to time also ZBrush and Substance Painter. And Affinity for texture editing. Yeah, it's quite wide. As an artist, you know, yeah, it's quite wide. And how long? It's years. Well, when did I start?
I mean, you did all that work in college. Like you had like your thesis video and whatnot that's still on your YouTube today.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was at least your college years. Working your way towards that degree, right?
Yeah, well, I started, apparently, according to my own LinkedIn, in 2009. So
2009? So you've been doing this for 10, 11, 12, like 13 years? 13 years you've been building assets and programs. Man, no wonder Max wanted you so bad. Diamond in the rough right over there.
Well, it was in the beginning, of course, just learning, you know.
You guys want to see Danny's college thesis? You guys want to see his thesis video? All right, hang on. Let me pull it up. I'll show it to you guys. All right, Danny's college thesis video. Okay. Danny Art. Let me see if I could find it. Danny Art, YouTube. In all caps. Is this the right Danny? No, you definitely don't. That's not. Danny Art. Where are you, my gorgeous man? No, it's not you. It's not you. This is you. Here we are. This was Danny's college thesis for Breda University of Applied Sciences. He released this in 2017. This was him showing the mastery of... This was what, for photogrammetry? This was showing at photogrammetry, I believe, for applied sciences and game work, right?
Yeah.
Yep, photogrammetry graduation project. Here we are. Built in Unreal Engine 4. So Danny built this game environment that you see right here. He built this and then graduated from college, with this being a proof of concept.
Yeah, and this was the video that Max saw.
I was about to say, this is the video that Max, like, jizzed all over, you know, like, getting all excited, right? And then just, like, I have to have Danny. This is it.
Yeah, this is the video.
Yep, this is it. This is what got Danny hired at Black Matter, guys, right here. Now you understand why Hell Let Loose looks so lifelike. I hope they gave him his degree plus all the money he paid for the courses. Well, in the Netherlands, it's a little bit different. You don't pay very much, do you?
Yeah, that's true. I actually sort of kind of went through college without... Well, actually, it's...
Minimal expense, maybe, I guess would be the way to put it.
No, like when you graduate, at least when I was in school, when you graduated, the costs were on the government.
So yeah, Danny didn't really have to worry about paying a dime.
Well, if you graduated, right? If you didn't do anything, you know, if you didn't do then it's up to you.
Yeah.
But this was the old arrangement. Right now they changed it, sadly, in the Netherlands.
Well, thank you to the Dutch government as well.
Yeah.
Thanks to the Dutch government. It's a beautiful, beautiful environment. What was your idea behind this? Do you remember like your overall thought process for building it? Like, did you have like a backstory in mind for this environment, or did you just want to add some mystery with the statue face and the beached ship and whatnot?
Well, I was, back in the days, photogrammetry was brand new. Well,
Yeah.
for games. So I was, like interested, like how difficult is it to capture a small object or a big object? Like, is that even possible? And back in the days, everything was completely new. So I think The Hague or Amsterdam, that boat is actually there in the water. And I went over there, took all the pictures that I needed. The statue is on the beach somewhere in the Netherlands as well, same as all the other assets. I just went there, traveled, took the pictures, went back home, made them into 3D models, and then
The northern garrison is
put them into the environment, and then documented the whole process for school. And yeah, they really liked it. Yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. So, well, I tell you what, since we're talking about it, and photogrammetry is still relatively new for video games, and now you have, I believe, your master's degree in this as well. Why don't you talk about like what photogrammetry is for video games and what its impact has had on Hell Let Loose?
For any video game, it just means that you can literally capture a real world item. And then put that into the game. And yeah, it's before that everything was made by hand, by an artist, by anyone, and that took a lot of time. And sometimes things were off or a little bit different, or
run to the trenches.
in the end they didn't match color-wise or shape-wise. Anything like that. And then yeah, when photogrammetry was introduced, that's all gone. You can just literally capture
Might as well just dive.
the world, like it cannot be more real than that.
So, what is that process like? You grab photos, and then what is the next step when you've come home after like taking your photos? What's the next step in bringing them into the game?
Yeah, you load them into one of the programs that can be Agasov Photo Scan or Reality Capture or any other program, and then that program makes it into a point cloud. You have to calculate all the differences between multiple photos, and then the software makes a 3D-like asset, and then you convert that. There's also a button that makes it an actual mesh, like a point cloud into an actual 3D mesh. And then also makes the textures, and then you have your what's called a high poly. It's really high quality, high density, but that cannot be loaded into the game. So then you need to decimate or make a lower poly mesh.
Okay.
And you bake the two. You bake a normal map and an albedo map. Is what it's called, like the colors, and then the little details are also baked into a different texture, different image. And then that final mesh can be loaded into the game, and then you can just scatter them around whenever you want to, place them around.
Wow. Okay, so what's an example? What are some examples of objects in Hell Let Loose that you have brought into the game using photogrammetry?
The most funniest ones are the rats and the fish.
You got can you share the stories behind this to all the new people in chat, like the fish story?
They're actually on Omaha Beach, and I actually went to the farmers market, and I bought a couple of fish heads, like the remains, and the guys were, they were looking at me like, why do you need that? Don't you need like nice fresh fish? I was like, no, I need the corpses, from the trash bin. So I went home with like a bag full of dead fish remains, and put them on a little table in the backyard, and started to make my photos. And then again through the whole process of point cloud, mesh, and then texture, and then putting them into the game. And the fishes are on the beaches, they're scattered there. Yeah.
So I need to clarify this. You woke up one morning and said to yourself, "Hey, I got an idea. I'm gonna go to a farmer's market, buy the chopped off heads of fish, and just ask a guy if I can go rummaging through his dumpster and just take some heads of fish." And the guy looks at you like, "What the frick are you gonna use this for?" And he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'm a video game developer."
yeah. That's pretty close. Yeah, they were looking at me like, "Dude, really?
Oh my god!
Like, you want fresh fish? You want nice fish?" Like, no. I want the remains. Like the pictures are never shared. Like, we were planned to make a photogrammetry developer briefing, but it was really gruesome because the fish have been there for like a half a day, I think, and like infested with worms and shit, stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, the smell was horrible, but in the end, we have fish on the beach, and that's what it's all about, right?
Oh my god, man. That is... all right, fine. So, what was part 2 with the rats, then? You did that with fish. What did you do to go get the rats done?
Well, actually, that was just a sort of unlucky coincidence. I just went to the garden, and there was a dead rat. And I was like, instead of, burying it, moving it away, I was like, okay, let's first take a couple of pictures.
Oh
The smell was
my god,
absolutely
Danny,
horrible.
what the hell?
But we needed them for the Bricour Manor.
Oh my god! You needed dead rats for Breakcourt Manor, and you walked out to your garden one day and said, "Yes! Yes! This is what I need. Where's my camera? Max is gonna worship me for this." Click, click, click. Taking pictures of a dead rat in your garden, and then you end up putting that into the game. All right, then I gotta follow up with this then. Did Max know about the dead rats or the dead fish before you put them in? And if not, what was his reaction to these things?
No, he knew. Yeah,
He knew.
Yeah. I ran it through Mac. Like, well, basically, roughly before you start the map making process, there's like a rough asset list, of the things that are needed. And for the beach maps, it was like, okay, maybe we need, something on the beach to scatter, there have been explosions in the water, so probably fish would have died and landed ashore. We had cows in the game. We were planning horses and rats and other kind of animals.
Oh my god.
Were also planned. They were on the list, but yeah, we're just waiting for the opportunity. And yeah, when the opportunity was there, we took it.
I am so blown away by all this information, dude. Oh my god. All right, let's... I'm gonna ask one last quick question, and then Big Red's got one for you. Have you put anything into the game that has outright surprised your colleagues with either, cheers and excellence or just shock and horror as to, like, what you have done? Has there been any instances or moments like this into which you have surprised your fellow devs with what you've done with your work?
Well, now that I think about it, yeah, the scarecrows, they were always a nice surprise, especially the developers with the fellow teammates.
What's up, monsters?
Oh, nice.
Because when we start
I'm spotting
testing and start
Yeah.
playing, especially in the night maps, people were not aware that they only appear in the night maps. That's one thing that I've done. They're not in the day maps, just scarecrows in the night maps. And when we were testing, a couple of the other devs, they were like, dude, there's a major bug in this game. I keep shooting this enemy in the distance. It doesn't want to die. And when they come very close, they're like, oh yeah, it's a scarecrow. Very funny, Danny. So yeah, that's a really funny one.
Oh my goodness. That's freaking excellent. Good Waffle's got a comment. Quote, they were on the list, but Danny never happened to a dead horse in his backyard, and so we couldn't make it happen.
Yeah. No,
Bless.
actually, yeah. Yeah. For example, when yes, occasionally a dead whale lands.
What's going on?
But yeah, I'm always, like they immediately start blocking it off so you can't go there. Yeah, dead animals are also like a health risk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
especially the bigger ones. So yeah, but whenever the opportunity is there, and if I have access, yeah, it's rare. Like in photogrammetry world, you barely see it.
Yeah, that's astonishing. All right, Big Red has a question for you. I think he's actually in the VC
Give me one
right
second.
now. All right, take your time then.
I'm trying to get transport on Kursk at the moment.
Alrighty then. Then in that case, I could definitely cram another one in for it. All right. What your fellow colleagues have commented time and again as to how much of a gorgeous nutcase you are with cramming a lot of different pieces of work into the game, and the fact that you almost tire yourself out with, the passion you have for this game. What do you attribute to that? Why do you think you're able to churn out so much content and, quite frankly, stay happy with yourself? You are like one of the cheeriest developers on the team right now, and yet you can sometimes work yourself down to the bone for this game. What do you attribute to that after all these years of work that you've done?
Yeah, it's just the community. That's literally the only, not only, but the biggest reason
Thank you.
to make the things that we do. Like the reactions, the videos, the screenshots, the everything. All the cool reactions. That's really for us. It makes our day. It's when you wake up, you check all the channels and you see all the amazing results and reactions. That's why you do it. That's why you make video games, right?
Yeah, one certainly hopes, that you get a good community out there that worships you, from dawn until dusk. You've certainly got a few cult followings in the Hell at Loose Discord. I know that much. Your afternoon G's, some of which are representing in the chat. They're definitely here.
That was true. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Big Red, let me check in with you. You ready for a question, or you want me to fire one more?
Yep.
Yep, go for it. All right, what you got, buddy?
All right, so Danny, I have to ask this. I know you're big into the gaming world, but how did you get into World War II? Is this something that you had an interest in originally, or is this something that you kind of fell into?
Well, like Hell at Loose, like for an artist perspective.
I think it was straight
really
south. I'm
about
not sure
Hell
though.
at Loose. About World
I think
War
it was
II.
straight south. Yeah.
Per se, it's if you look at the individual assets like hedges and buildings and tanks, they are World War II. They look like they are from World War II, but the core is just making assets that are just very cool. Like certain weapons, certain vehicles, and you don't need to have a strong relationship with World War II to make the assets, because in the end, it's just the assets that matter. What's the game? What the game is all about.
And I can understand that from your perspective, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, like, as a gamer myself, obviously for the last 20 years of my life, I started out, World War II has always been like my genre. I started out like with Medal of Honor Allied Assault back in the day, Battlefield 1942, and stuff like that. the different mechanics of those games, I've noticed as we've progressed through gaming over the last 20 years and got to this point with Hell Let Loose, it kind of incorporates everything that me as a gamer looks for. It's teamwork based. You can't go play Rambo, otherwise you get, killed in 2 seconds. The mechanics behind it is everything I've been looking for in a game. And I'm very thankful that there are people that listen to the community like yourself, but not only just that on the Discord. It's amazing what this game has become, that I cannot wait to see where it goes in the next 10, what you think, another 5 years in this project easily?
Yeah, I cannot wait to see what How Let Loose will be. But yeah, that's right now we're just focusing on anything really close by. Just looking update for update, update by update, and revealing what is planned is risky, but yeah, great things are coming for sure.
Well, I will try to, since we're on the topic of the theme, we'll quickly see if this is a possibility. There is a question in chat from Jason. He is a citizen of the UK, and we already know that the British are coming, and that there's a British update planned on the roadmap. He is just curious if the Lee Enfield rifle has already been modeled yet behind the scenes. If you can't answer, it's okay. We gave Teal plenty of passes because some of these questions, the last thing you want is to, you evoke the wrath of Max or something tomorrow morning. So, okay. If you can't answer, we understand.
No, in general, like you also know, updates are planned very far before they're actually being worked on. So, any, next content, like what I said before, I was working on update 14 content. There are also people working on update 13 content, and that's already been going on for, weeks or months.
Yeah, months, yeah.
Yeah, working side by side.
We're on defense,
and not after each other, because otherwise it's a bit risky,
Yeah.
So yeah, many of the content is being worked on. And that's
well, there you go, chat. Much of the content is being worked on. No absolute confirmation, but that's as close as you're going to get with Danny. That's as close as you're going to get to breaking him away from his NDA. We'll call that most likely, okay? I'm going to translate that as to most likely without official confirmation. But since we bring up the weapons, you did do modeling on a bunch of the weapons in the game, yes?
Yeah, yes, but not the guns.
Not the guns themselves. Who is responsible for the guns and their modeling and whatnot?
That's Fran, Anton. In the beginning, it was. Oh man, now I forgot his name. Sorry. Oh man.
I forget what I had for breakfast. I'm not going to hold this against you.
Stefan.
Stefan, okay. Yeah. So the three of them, huh?
Now, yeah, well, Stefan was already in the beginning, the alpha before.
Right, yeah.
And right now it's actually Anton and Fran. Working on the weapons, and also Tom was also working on the weapons.
Alrighty, let's focus.
So yeah, it's a very large, I would say, team.
Garrison is up on
working on that. And yeah, for me, it was actually my contribution to the weapons was the material driving
and crawling through grass.
The underlying material, the smart mod.
Gotcha. All right. Well, there you go on that. Got it. All right. Let me crank this up a little bit, chat. There we go.
Yeah, for me,
Charlie, I got supplies
I just worked on, for example, the hammers.
You get a Garrison.
the other slightly smaller props, like the
Panther on bigger marker.
crates
Thanks,
and the
brah.
bandage
Yeah,
things and
no
the,
problem.
you know, the little
The little knickknacks a little bit. Yeah, yeah. Will we see higher level unlocks, level X outfits, and 300 plus outfits? That's an interesting question, but it's not really connected to.
Commands,
I don't really know if that's on the roadmap exactly. I'll answer this from Team 17's brief tattoo. Team 17 has said at the end of June that they want to see more higher level unlocks, and they're even willing to go past level 10, level 10 as the cap for each of the loadouts, just so that we get more unlock potential. All right, so likely next year. Do you think they're going to bring new games, new tanks to the game like the Hellcat? Yeah, not entirely sure about that. All right, so let's talk about assets that you did for Update 12. We've already done the boat, which is the big one for you. Were there any other big assets, or just, and I don't mean by size, but just like major, exciting assets that you did for Update 12 that you want to talk about?
No, just the inside of the bunker, but it's for me a bit of
Yeah, we gotta put it a bit
quite
further
a
out.
bit ago. So yeah, it's a.
Yeah,
I did rework a little bit on the overhauls for some of the vehicles. But yeah, in
Tanks just
general,
sitting
it
in
was
front of
just.
windmills.
IS-1s at center spawn.
Yeah, keeping the performance in line and.
Teal gave you a lot of credit for that earlier
Yeah,
today.
do you guys
Bug
have
fixes.
anyone with assassin charge?
Yeah, Teal gave you a lot of credit for asset performance earlier today. He pretty much solely put that on your shoulders.
God, spotting in the fog. This is gonna be a nightmare.
Thanks.
Really, like he said, yeah, that most of the maps would not run nearly as smooth without without the work that you do for it. So since you bring it up, I remember Gothic sending me a DM saying that you were working on LODs for like almost like the last like 2 weeks before like the update got content locked, or not content locked, but actually just polish locked.
Yeah, he is.
Before distribution.
still
What kind of polishing and tweaking were you doing for the game
on the
to get
ridge,
more
past the
performance, or to
buildings.
balance out
He's
performance?
MGing into the crowd, you might be able to catch him from the side.
Yeah, usually just lowering the triangle counts in mid-distance, and
Yeah, no problem.
yeah, right now, almost unfortunately, HLL at far distance in some of the maps, and then yeah, occasional custom melodies for some of the bigger assets that are in game. Yeah, that's basically my main focus.
Gotcha. So lowering the triangle count, what is that process like? You start off with an asset that has X amount of detail, and you have to make it look, well, with all respect, like crappier almost, for the sake of performance, and crappier at a certain distance, not necessarily up close, but just at a certain distance. What is that process like? How do you take a nice, shiny object like a house and turn it into a blobomorph? You know, at distance. What is that process like?
There are luckily
I'll get one up.
lots of tools in engine that can do most of it.
Okay.
But that's, you know, we are moving slightly away from that approach. We are, because it's automated, right? Like the engine does it for you, and people have seen it in game. You know, the ice cream lobby stuff in the distance.
Yeah.
But for some of the slightly bigger maps like Stalingrad, we have been making our own low polys at distance. And they aren't ice creams anymore. They look like a nice visual representation of the higher quality buildings,
Infantry on King.
small houses.
Splash the half track.
And then yeah, we just take the high quality asset, And then in modeling programs, we make a low quality one, and then bake all the details from the high quality one onto the low quality one.
They're pushing us.
And then if
I think I got armor on
edits,
ping.
import it back into the game, and then
Nope, can't see it.
yeah, at distance it looks
But I
real
do have
nice, real sharp, real cool, and it doesn't cost any big performance. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, so it's mostly automated, but now you guys are doing it a bit more by hand.
It used to be pretty automated. For some of the maps, it's still in there, unfortunately, because it's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're moving slowly away from that old approach into the new one. Where we
Gotcha. We brought this up with Teal earlier, and he gave some answers to it. You guys at Black Matter, over the years, you have developed new techniques for a lot of things. In some ways, you have learned as you've gone with the development process and developed new techniques, some of which you still safeguard to this day under NDA for fear of competition learning about these processes, and you want to safeguard them, and obviously we're not going to talk about those on stream. Is there any example that you can give us of some of the things that you have learned while working on Hell Let Loose at Black Matter that you perform better doing today compared to when you first arrived?
Yeah, that's for me. It's been the what we call the smart materials.
Smart materials.
That is the biggest win we had in a long time. In terms of visual fidelity, and then also performance, and also ease of use. That's
Yeah, just watch out that there's a.
Got it. Let's expand on that a bit. Let's first start out with this. Is a smart materials system something that comes native to Unreal Engine 5, or is this an in-house developed process and property that Black Matter has done?
Yeah, it's actually a mix.
It's a mix. Now you have my attention.
It's the actual material itself is for us. It's something we made for specifically for Hell Let Loose.
Okay.
But the underlying technology is, it's just engine technology, and then we build up on that. We expand it. It's like having loose ingredients, and then we make the cake.
Okay, got it.
The engine delivers the ingredients, and then we make the cake.
Fascinating. Do you think there are any other or many other game development studios that do smart materials the way that Black Matter does, to the quality that you guys do, with the performance gains that you do?
Yes. Yeah.
Got it. So it's more like discovering a top-tier industry secret and then adding your own kind of flavor and twist to it in this way, and bringing that to Hell Let Loose.
Yeah. It's for us. It's made specifically for Hell Let Loose. And yeah, other studios have also achieved such things. But yeah, other studios also do the old manual approach. It depends. Where you want to put your time into.
Got it. All right. Well, smart materials being the biggest thing that you guys have developed better. Let me go ahead and scroll up a little bit. Yeah, Jay, I can turn down game volume more. Don't worry. I'll turn it down even a little bit further. There you go. Yep, game volume's a little bit loud. We want to make sure we don't miss out any of the fun stuff. Let me go ahead and scroll up a little bit. What do you think is the best part about the new update, Danny?
Just a new map. Night modes. I cannot wait for a melee-only bridge fight or melee-only bunker fight in the dark. Just sneaking around people. I think it's
Yeah, we're going to be running that soon. Don't worry. That's going to be up on the server really soon. I want to throw this out there as a general question since you bring up night maps. The night maps that we've already gotten, fantastic. It's wonderful to have 5 nighttime variants of night maps for Hell Let Loose. Let me ask you guys. Let me ask how much work compared to developing a map from scratch. How much work was it to convert these maps over into a night mode with the fog and the lighting? If you were to give me a percentage of the work, if like a new map is like 100% new work, how much work do you think it was to convert a daytime map into a nighttime map? Like 10%, 20%?
Yeah, I think in those regions.
Okay.
The biggest time consumer, I would say, is tweaking and fine tuning and making sure.
Sure.
Like the real difficulty is in people's monitors. Like monitors have built-in contrast, brightness enhancers.
Yes.
Specific tools, NVIDIA insights.
Yes. Yeah.
Doodads that can tweak a couple of things without flagging ECM cheats.
Yes.
Not saying that it's cheating, but it's
gives an advantage. It gives an advantage. Yeah.
And to make sure that advantage is as low as possible.
Sure. Okay.
Tweaking that is key.
All right. So the follow-up to that question would be, we've gotten 5 night maps already. You guys did some brilliant work with lighting in this particular update, particularly reflective lighting coming off of flares, muzzle fire, and things of that nature. Some people in chat are already saying, I wonder what this would look like in an urban combat environment like Carentan. Is there opportunity, do you think, in the next year for a few more night maps to possibly join the game? Just like hypothetically as a possibility, do you think it's a possibility?
A possibility?
Yeah.
Why not? But yeah, I have no insight into that.
Sure. Yeah, I know that like planning isn't exactly in like your department and whatnot. And I totally get that. It's more just a question of, like, you understand at the very least, since you're a part of Black Matter and you guys have about a year's worth of development time left, how much effort it takes to build a night map, and therefore, is there a time window to which it could be squeezed in if, if the will was there. That's kind of what the question's about. It's not about, like, will you commit to this? It's more... just could it be possible?
It could be possible, but I would say, let's spend all the time and focus on the current roadmap.
Naturally, yeah. No, naturally, we want to see the current roadmap first.
Needed there. It's
So I do have one thing I want to mention about these night maps. I feel like I have to relearn the maps again. I keep getting lost. I'm confused. I'm on Kursk right now, and the fog is so bad. I'm looking at the map more. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna drive into a damn trench.
Yeah. It's definitely a challenge. But that's the cool part about it, like making sure that people are like disorientated and. That real scary claustrophobic feel is really key here.
I'm just afraid that I'm going to turn around and like Nazi zombies are going to come crawling out of the
I'll be frank, the fog in Kursk is nutty. It's like 30, you can only see 30 meters in front of you. It is like the perfect map for a for like a zombies game mode, like a melee only zombies game mode. It's rather nutty. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, well, let me take a look at this. Zukos is asking if there's any chance of adding weather effects in maps. I'm not sure if this refers to dynamic weather effects, to which we've gone over before, but might need a rehash on that answer. Or if he's talking about just more things like rain on Purple Heart Lane, like more pronounced rain or more pronounced snow or something. I'm not entirely sure. Perhaps you want to just give some answers for both, maybe?
Yeah, well, actually, we have been chatting about it earlier, but we have to keep performance in mind
Yes.
and not the visuals. It is something that, you know, like per map is still, you know, tweakable, editable. You can always increase a bit here and decrease a bit there. Dynamic things, I would not recommend it because of the performance impact.
Yeah.
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 And
It's-
also, you know, like for example, you have current Kursk, and then over the time it turns into a snow landscape. It's like it's too soon. In real life, it also doesn't happen in an hour.
Happen that
you know?
fast, yeah. Sure. Yep, I understand that. About to download Hell Let Loose, can't wait to get PTSD. Awesome, Operator Shek. You're currently listening to me interview one of the 20 developers who make Hell Let Loose for PC right now. They're asking DannyArt some questions. He's a technical artist for the game. Builds lots of the physical objects that we enjoy in the game. Maybe just making the rain more noticeable on Purple Heart Lane, says Liam. Alright. I'm going to take a look at some of the reactions here. I'm glad they didn't add a bunch of artificial light sources on maps. Yeah, I mean, well... Yeah, no, I understand what you're getting at there. Good Waffle jokingly asks, so what does Danny do with the 8 minutes of his free time during the day?
Usually just reading all up on the comments and the checking the channels, making sure everything is okay.
Alright, so when you're not actually building the game, you're socializing with its community, enjoying a cup of tea, and then getting some sleep. Pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Okay, chat, you heard it here first. There you go. Oh my goodness. R-Stub, in regards to the the idea of like dynamic stuff that we were talking about earlier. I mean, not, you know, too much dynamics, but he's asking about footsteps in snow. Is that a possibility? And in mud. The idea of a player interacting with surfaces and leaving things like that behind.
Is it possible? Yes. Would we recommend it? No.
Okay.
And that very simply because you also have to do that on 99 other players.
Yeah. Yeah, which gets into the whole how much freaking netcode does this game have? And the answer is not much, bitch. Not much. Not anymore. You guys have extracted the living hell out of it at this point. Yeah. Thank you, Danny, for the landing craft. You've been holding that secret in for a while, and it was really eating me. And photographing dead fish and rats. I do wish to thank... I do wish that tanks you destroyed would stay on fire. That's also an interesting idea for it that we could probably talk about later. I want to follow up with Jason's question here. What was the least favorite asset you ever had to build?
Yeah, well, it's actually both the dead red. I would say that smell was in my nose for days, days and days. My clothes, like, you know, like it was probably in my head because after that I was like washing and deodorant and everything because I couldn't get the smell out of it. But yeah, because the red was dead for like a couple of days. So, so it was my most fun one, but also my most hated one, I would say.
I'm sure it made for a good story though once you were done though, right? I mean, at this point you still you're kind of happy looking back on it a bit.
Yeah, really, yeah.
All right, well there you go, guys. See, that's it's the rat that he built right there. That's already in Red Dead Redemption 2, and it takes a lot of resources since it's tied in with tessellation. Got it, yeah. Any chances for new competitive-based maps? Remagen will most likely be avoided in comp maps. Well, Danny, I tell you what, to kind of highlight some answers to the question, why don't you talk a little bit about especially for all the new players in chat, why don't you talk about what the map development process is like for Hell Let Loose, like what it's like to pick a location or a historical battle and then what that process is like of actually building that into what we have.
Yeah, well, usually it's more, you know, the question for written or max.
Naturally.
The guys, but in general, I would say they usually look into, like what was a cool battle? Where did a cool, but not cool, but you know, where did a big, interesting, remarkable memory wise battle took place, and then then we look into it, into the location, see where we can get our data from, and then start building the map.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, like if we would go for like a completely unknown location that no one really cared about, it's not very interesting, I would say. And then, you know, like some of the bigger locations like Omaha or Carrington, you know, Stalingrad, they have a bigger impact on the community, I would say.
All right. Running in with that theme then to tie into kind of a part two of House Gangster's question. So he was mentioning that Remagen is an example of a map that probably won't make it into the competitive scene of Hell Let Loose because the competitive community tries to prioritize map balance more than anything else. Now, as developers, you guys try to stay in tune with accuracy of the maps and the terrain first, before player balance next. So let me ask you this. What is the process like after you have built a product? You've built a map. What is the process like for player testing afterwards, and based on the feedback of player testing, tweaking that map? How far do you guys go in adjusting your own creations after the players get a chance to test them out on a PTE? And how much tweaking do you guys do based on that feedback?
Yeah, it is usually based on the PTs and also, you know, QA itself. They, you know, QA legends, you know, right? And they test these maps day in, day out, all day. They know every detail. And, you know, based on their feedback and then also the PT feedback, you know, some tweaks and balances are made. But we always try to stay as close as possible to the actual realism, the historical location.
Sure.
Because if that isn't the case, then we can just, you know, generate a random environment.
Yes, yeah.
We can just pick any, you know, any location, any...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't need to look into things. We can make, fake history. You know, like, for example, right now you're playing bridge map, Remagen, and we can just add 2 more bridges. You know, one on the left, one on the right. We have 3 bridges, and then it's totally balanced. And then we make another hill on the other side, so we have 2 hills with 3 bridges, totally balanced, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the whole, you know, and we call it, instead of Remagen, we call it Soundboardville. I don't know.
I would not mind a map being named after me. Look, for the record, I'll put it down right now. If you want to make a map and call it Soundboardville, and you've got like orange helmets on spikes every once in a while, and you know, plenty of landmarks of me and my roadkill, I'll take it. I'll take it as like a parting gift before you guys go. I'll totally take it. But yeah, no. In the meantime, for everything else, yep. Thanks for the clarification on realism comes first, and the slight adjustments come next. Looking at the roadmap, then we know that we've got 2 Russian maps out there. One of which has already been leaked. It's Kharkov. Right now, do you think that Kharkov will have less choke points compared to Remagen's Soul Bridge? And some of the complications that the competitive community feels that Choke Point creates? Do you think Kharkov will kind of return to some of the other maps that we've seen where there are more flanking opportunities and less restrictions on movement?
Well, I can only focus on my answer on Remagen itself. You know,
Okay.
is more that we needed.
Get whatever
You know,
ride
the
you
decision
can to the
was
front,
made to
boys.
make, like,
I'll get us
an actual bridge map, and then
when I get
obviously it's a Choke Point, and that makes Remagen unique on its own.
It does. It does.
All the other maps, they are regular maps. But yeah, Remagen was unique.
That's true.
Bridge.
All right. Well, in that case, chat, I want you to interpret that answer as if it's being interpreted as unique, that means that it's outside the norm, and that you guys might see something a little bit different for the future maps. All right. I can't confirm it. That's how I'm interpreting it, and I think that's not an unfair interpretation for you guys in the future. Hopefully, that gives you a something that gives you guys a little bit of a calm there, House Gangster. I did have another question I wanted to ask here. Reformed Gamer asks if there's any possibility of releasing the TAC map for Omaha Warfare.
Ooh, isn't that one out? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's because you guys did do a tweak to the map in its adjustments, there is like 2 versions of it. You know, there's Omaha, Omaha, there's the original Omaha, which is, as I understand it, staying for U.S. offensive, right? Because, the U.S. hadn't landed yet, so it doesn't make much sense to, have all that stuff there. And then you've got the second variant for Warfare and German offensive. So is there going to be a TAC map that kind of reflects the changed beach?
Yeah, in general, I would say, as for players, you can just grab the tech maps from Discord.
Yes.
And then yes, I think it's actually a very good one to remember for the to add the offensive and warfare variants in there as well. But to update them in game. That might happen.
Okay.
I'm not sure at the moment.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you guys have your priorities right now, and you're busy, but so don't fret about it. But yeah, just more of a generic question of.
But it's a
possibility.
Good point. Yeah. Like if people really need a tech map on the beach to know where to see where the obstacles are, then it can be. It can definitely be made. Yeah.
All right.
Good point.
All right. Let me take a look at this. Jason jokingly asked, "Can DannyArt make me a Jasonville location on a map?"
Spawn on the OP. I'll put down a.
That's gonna be cool.
That's adorable. And yeah, you know what? Since we got you here, there is an objective. There is an objective on the new map here that we have to talk about, because there is no way on God's gracious green earth that this place is real. I'm going to scroll up to my memes channel in my Discord. There is an objective on Remagen called DanRadArt 512. And yeah, Jason is looking at this thing and thinking that DannyArt embedded himself in as an Easter egg as one of the objectives. Can you confirm or deny this, sir?
I actually have no idea. I didn't make this one. So
Teal could not give me a straight answer. Do you know what this is in reference to then? If there really is a location that referenced this? I have no idea what a rad art is. I don't know why its name is Dan, and I don't know why it's got 512. This all seems like Black Matter shenanigans.
I have no idea. This when you showed in your meme channel, I was like, yeah, that's I haven't made the names, so yeah, I can't.
I'm asking the wrong damn dev. That's what I'm getting right now. I'm asking the wrong dev. Oh man.
This is whoever made the name. yeah, should be asked. But it's
I got to
really
hammer
hard to
Teal about
do
that harder the next time I get him in here. He kind of chuckled his way out of that one. Rad art almost looks like a type of radar. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe Good Waffle. Yeah. All right. I'll slap another one at you for this. We've got a load of new Steam achievements that just came out with this particular update. There is a flood of them, including one with your name on it, with the 63 revives in one match. The community woke up this morning and said, how the hell is that possible? Do you remember what map you played on and mode in order to achieve 63 revives in a single match?
Yeah, Urgent Forest.
It was Hurtgen Forest. Warfare or offensive? If it was Warfare, I'm going to be astonished.
Ooh, that I actually don't know, but it's not even close to the highest record, I think.
Not the highest. I got 60 the other night, but let me tell you something, Danny. I had to work my butt off for that.
I know.
So, yeah.
The officially confirmed one, I think it was like 85 or something.
85 is the community record? All right, that's a circus, dude.
For developers,
that's a circus.
You know, that was my record. That was 63. So yeah, anyone who wants to go above and beyond, you know, take the challenge.
See, I'm a perfectionist. I need to have this in my life. I have to get it done. On a larger scope, it's yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it is totally possible. But yeah, it requires constant attention from the medic and a great team that just waits for your medic.
Not to mention you're competing those other medics. You got to compete with those other medics too, dude. I was competing with them last night and I lost.
Oh.
Danny Boom Ted TTV says I've gotten 11. Or you could just get a friend to keep wounding him to get the 63 revives. Liam, we're talking about legit achievements here. Most of us try to earn these things legit, not down somebody over and over again.
Is very spooky at night.
Oh my goodness. Well, with that in mind, let's expand on this a bit. How are Steam achievements decided and added to the game? You're included in this, and it even suggests with this beat the dev medic in parentheses. It suggests that you are that the developers might do more of these in the future with a different update. How are these decided? What's the process to include these Easter eggs, or not Easter eggs, but these achievements on Steam?
Yeah, we have a giant backlog, a giant list of all kinds of words and names and specific things that we see people do. And then we try to match the two, when someone gets, an X amount of kills, wow, it's totally worth to have an achievement for that. We're like, yeah, that's actually quite interesting. And then we try to find a cool name for it, or make a name for it, and then try to balance it out, see if it's possible. Then we just add it into this, giant list of achievements that we have. And then when the update is released, we look into what is new. Can we link some achievements to them, and then squeeze in a couple of extra ones that are not update specific, and just generic. And then they get added into the game, usually by James, and then they get tested by QA, and then
responding in 6
images are being made and done. We have new achievements. So.
All right, well there you go on that. Do you think a precision strike on a fortress on Omaha Beach in the U.S. before the fortress objective is a starting point? I think that's a question for me. Danny is only asking because he wants his own achievement, Kappa. No, it's not about that. Guys, if I wanted to go lobby for my own Steam achievement, I can easily have a private conversation about that, and not in front of the public. No, that's just a general question there, so that you guys can understand that. Let me think. I had something in my head. Why did the sound of Artie get shortened? Danny is not the sound engineer. We're not going to get much of an answer on that. Let let me think. What was the question I was going to ask? It was about the... Oh, here it is. You had brought up James earlier. I'm not sure if it's James Light that we were talking about. What was your relationship to James over the last 5 years? He started off as a quality assurance tester for Team 17, according to the obituary that they wrote for him. What was your relationship to him as you guys worked together over the last 5 years before he died earlier this year?
Yeah, he was our contact point at Team 17. And also the guy who was overseeing everything, I would say. Like from bugs to technical questions to anything. You know, you could always hit him up and say, hey, can you help me with this? Can you chase this up? And yeah, absolute legend, right? It's basically the overseeing, all-seeing guy, overlooking everything. You know, he wasn't tied to one thing.
Wow. It sounds like he was rather integrated into the project since the beginning.
Yeah. More than anyone knows. It's like absolutely everything.
Wow. That's nuts. Most people, when they read the announcement, did not realize that Team 17 had a relationship with Black Matter going back to 2018. It was listed that he had been a part of the program since like 2018. Working with you guys. Most people had assumed that Team 17's relationship with you all had started much later. So he started off in QA and eventually became the guy that just oversaw everything. And that was, and that still remained up until recently, just kind of like a go-to point of contact, a liaison between Black Matter and Team 17, coordinating everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, it was incredibly big. And he still is, you know? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
But also, the small correction, the James that I mentioned before was James Baxter for the achievements. And then James Light is,
yes.
Alright, boys, we have 2 defense squads.
the all-overseeing...
Yeah.
Amazing gentleman.
Sound good? I hear
Yeah.
no.
Well, with that in mind, I'm sure the community, now knowing how valuable he was to you all, will eagerly await the possibility of a special little something for him in the game. I'm sure you'll come up with a fun little memorial or Easter egg that he'll eventually get put into in the game that we can enjoy as a treat eventually later to go remember him. That'll be wonderful.
Yes.
All right. Let me go ahead and catch up with chat, and let me go ahead and see what other questions we've got for it. Man, they killed it with the night maps. Everybody I talked to on Kursk, everybody I talked to had Kursk as one of the worst maps, and what they did now adding night and fog has skyrocketed it to everybody's favorite I know to play with. Hell of a job, developers. Well, awesome. There's some positive feedback for you. Kursk apparently tweaked out really well.
Yeah, personally, I would contribute that to the, you don't have that long distance, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's, not getting sniped across the field with no cover definitely makes the map much more refreshing. I can agree with that. Okay, I just hip-fire headshot a guy. Get wrecked. In regards to those night maps, by the way, in case I forgot to touch up on it earlier, were you involved with helping tweak the night maps in order to get those things going, or was that mostly the mapping department that did that work?
Yeah, that was actually mostly Anton.
Anton, really?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Anton gets the credit for the night maps there.
Yeah, and you guys know him all for the amazing trailer of the Soviet update.
Yes, yeah. If you guys enjoyed the Soviet content that's played with my trailer there, yes. Jack is asking about the possibility of new game modes on Hell Let Loose's Horizons. There is nothing set up for this year. If you want to dodge the question for the sake of avoiding the wrath of Max, feel free to. I will not judge you.
Like, okay, this is like a non-company related answer. It's like my personal opinion.
Sure.
I would love to see a new game mode. I have really been enjoying the events, that server administrators are organizing. So seeing, like new creative ways of seeing people how they play maps, that would be really cool. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
If it's going to happen in game, I don't know. I have no idea there.
Yep. Yeah, it's, once again, guys, Danny doesn't really, manage the planning side of things. He's kind of just given a task list of sorts and just kind of zooms with it and then responds to feedback as he goes, because he's a wizard like that. So as for new game modes, here's what I can tell you guys, is, I mentioned it before, and I'll, repeat it again. With Team 17 now acquiring Hell Let Loose, and spending a fortune on Hell Let Loose because they want to grow the franchise into something rich for themselves. The player base holds a lot of power now. Team 17 want you guys to keep playing the game, and they want more people to play the game. That's kind of their main goal. So if you guys can demonstrably show an overwhelming interest in a particular focus thing, like more game modes, you're more likely to get a response out of them and have them actually take action on something in the future. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind in the future there. Is there plans to implement a way to counter the way people increase their brightness on night maps to gain an advantage? So we were talking about this earlier. You mentioned monitors, which is really difficult to kind of get around. But you did mention another thing, which was NVIDIA adjustments or even reshade, like as a program. Is there a way that Black Matter could try to prevent these programs or integrate preventions into Easy Anti-Cheat for Hell Let Loose so that such programs would be prohibited and it would create a more balanced environment for everybody?
Yes. Programs like Reshade, they should be blocked, as far as I know.
Yes.
And other, if there are other third-party
there's 2 tanks now.
tools or programs, then they can always be blocked. NVIDIA, it's a bit of a different one because you're blocking then your GPU driver. It's...
oh, man. All right, that's a little bit complicated.
But
NVIDIA is the big one on everybody's mind, I'll let you know right now. We had somebody earlier on stream, they did a test run on FOI at night and were able to successfully use NVIDIA to make it look like it was FOI at day. Wicked bright in the sky. And
if those things happen, then we have to, just like Kursk, introduce fog. Because that will just basically level the field for everyone.
Sure. So, yeah.
Yeah, like between you and the fog, that you can still tweak your brightness, but after the fog, it's gone.
Sure. So with that in mind, let's then reintroduce it. So let's talk about this hypothetically. Kursk to loads of fog, you're never going to need to adjust that. Purple Heart Lane, adequate amount of fog, I'd say. It's, within like a 75-meter distance, not too bad. You've got... I'm playing on Remagen at night right now, and I can barely see about 50 meters in front of me. That's a pretty dense fog. FOI has no fog on it right now. And don't get me wrong, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous the way you've done it. It's an artistic masterpiece. It's perfect for your holiday Christmas card with red and green tracers in the air and what have you. If it was such a prevalent issue, would the dev team possibly consider going back and adding fog into FOI night to counter this?
Always, like, if the community needs it, we can always look into this.
Okay. All right, well, there you go, chat. It is up as an option, all right? So nothing to really worry about there, at least on that part, all right? Let me go ahead and take a look at this. Remagen offensive would be hella interesting in the nighttime. Good God. We do have it available in the daytime for the record, chat. I'm not running it on my server today. Remagen offensive, daytime for both factions. We're just not running it on my server yet. Is seeing your game being played, especially in tournaments, the best feeling? If not, what tops it?
Tournaments, yeah, that's amazing. That is so big, so cool. Always love watching them.
It's a night map,
And
still
it's
open
actually,
ground,
you know, the
boys.
same feeling as what we get
caution,
when
keep
we
your
just
eyes
see everyone's video content. You know, everyone just playing, and then also events as well. It's the same feeling of seeing people, you know, walking through there, enjoying, being amazed when like a bombing run or a bomber flies over, or people being blown up, or tanks firing. It's like, it's, you know, seeing people play is you know, what makes it for us. It's what drives us. It's what wants us all to, you know, improve, adapt, and continue on. Right?
Well, there you go. There you go, guys. What other game modes would people like to see? King of the Hill. Yeah, I think that's more of a chat question than a Danny question. Any chance of adding black characters for the United States? This has been a topic that has come up over several years. I do recognize that this is a politically sensitive topic, and it may be difficult for you to answer because of how you represent Black Matter. If you need an out, feel free to take it.
Yeah, this is actually a question that I don't have an answer for. Yeah, I have no answer here. The same question is about women in the Soviet.
Correct. Yes, that's another one that comes up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I have no idea.
That's fine. Yeah, that's more of a Max question, I think. At this point, he kind of gets to decide those kinds of things on that one. More of a decision maker kind of a question there for that one. Let me go ahead and keep pushing. No, naturally, Liam. Liam, I understand it. I'm totally cool with it. It's the nature of it's the nature of a Black Matter employee saying yes or no to it, in which you know, can then have ramifications on the community, which has been divided on the topic. You know, if one developer just by mistakenly says, yeah, we'll totally do it, and then you find out, you wake up tomorrow morning and find out that 2/3 of the community says, why on God's green earth would you do this? You know, you're kind of creating a shitstorm to then you got to go talk to your boss about, you know? That's really what it comes down to. It's controversial. Controversial is probably the word I should have used more. Anyways, let me go ahead and take a look at some of the other questions that we've got here. I do think, though, that black U.S. soldiers and the Soviet female soldiers would be cool. Particularly some of the female snipers that came out of that. Jay, what did you mark for me here about NVIDIA? Let me scroll up here a bit. Some games don't allow NVIDIA filters. A supported game is required to use this feature, it says. Interesting. So maybe there is an opportunity for you there, Danny. NVIDIA Filters is a program that could be filtered out. And we just removed Black Matter's, or, you know, hell, it was a support for the game, for that, and then it would be doable. So that's definitely something.
Yeah, but then you're still stuck with the monitor inbuilt.
Yeah, the monitors will be its own thing, and that's you have to like naturally just write that off. Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. Like monitors is kind of like you have to shrug your shoulders and say, "What do you want me to do about it?" Sort of add fog, and that's going to be like a debate. Yeah.
In general, if we can, of course, we can always look into it.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
well, that's good to know.
Yeah, other programs and other tools have been banned and blocked. So yeah, in general, don't worry. If there's any concerns, if people are okay, this needs to be changed. Usually, people post it on Reddit with all the required information, or send an email to Team 17 support.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got that available. Yep, I've got. To anybody that doesn't know what he's referring to, there is the Team 17 support ticket there. If you do have a concern there, Team 17 currently collects the feedback to then give to the developers, and they use that ticket system right there. So that's how you can best reach the developers with something that's important or immediate. All right, well, let's go ahead and ask something that we also asked Teal earlier. We know that Black Matter is, your contract is going to be ending in about 12 months, well, 11 months now. It's going to be June next year. And that Max, a year ago, gave a quote to a journalist saying that the next game Black Matter is going to build is going to be fantasy-based, so that you guys can kind of just make it up as you go along in terms of authenticity and the rules and the the environment and whatnot. In this theme, but not directly related to this, your time for coming to Hell Let Loose, or for developing Hell Let Loose, is coming to an end. Is there a game... Looking at the future, is there a game genre that you would like to build a game for? Whether it's like racing or fantasy or sci-fi, is there a game genre that specifically calls to you that you would be interested in making a game for?
In general, for me personally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be something creative, something free, something that doesn't need everyday attention.
Anyone
You know,
have
like
explosive ammo?
for the past years, we have all been really looking into photos and measurements
I'm
and
about to go run over there to it.
exact things.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, like having a bit of
Has to be explosive ammo.
creative freedom would be cool.
Sorry, Soundboard, sorry.
Creative freedom. Do you... So, you do a lot of maintenance, naturally, for Hell Let Loose. To kind of, like, follow up on this. You do a lot of, technical work and maintenance work, and you're right. Your work does involve a lot of, kind of, how do I say this? Exactness. Terrible adjective, but I'm going to run with it. You think an ideal game for you would give you more creative freedom to just kind of do things. And the genre isn't what it's about. It's just the idea that you can build things for the sake of building things and just go with it. That would be most ideal for you.
They're heavy on the west side.
Yeah, like in the for us it's every day we get emails and DMs about how wrong we made certain things, or things are slightly off, or there was a screw that wasn't there, and then to not have that for a moment would be cool.
Yeah, I could understand that, especially given the creativity that you show in your spare time building extra stuff for the game, for the lulz, for the memes, for the fun. So I'm kind of starting to get a theme here out of all this. Oh man, definitely makes sense. Let me go ahead then. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, Teal actually said earlier, he said that he wanted to build a war game, and he actually had an idea. He kept it super generic to make sure that it wouldn't. He didn't want to give up his idea and then have somebody market it. But he came up with the idea of having like a World War II game that was multiplayer, but that at the same time had scenarios baked into that multiplayer, so that people could experience lots of like tastes of the heroic accomplishments of World War II in that way. I'll be honest, it kind of reminded me almost. He also said he wanted to be like really realistic, like going above and beyond. It honestly sounded to me like a hybrid of Hell Let Loose and Tarkov, in a way. That was his ideal game. The idea of like a Hell Let Loose Tarkov hybrid, where the setting is World War II, you've got quests, you've got hyper-realism going on, and yet it takes you through amazing stories of what people did in World War II at the same time. I thought that was a fascinating idea.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, different answers. I'm so curious as to what Greetson's going to answer for his ideal game.
Yeah.
Yep, no idea. All right, let me go ahead and head back to chat, and let's see what other beautiful questions you guys have out there for Danny at this point. I'm going to go ahead and scroll up. I'm going to scroll up quite a bit, apparently. Actually, yeah, no, I guess we're waiting on the next question. So at that point, I guess I will ask you...
Yeah, I shot the engineer in the head.
Compared to your counterparts, you have not played nearly as much Hell Let Loose. I don't think. I mean, give or take some of it. Some of the dev team don't play Hell Let Loose like at all. Why don't you play the game as much compared to some of the other devs out there? Is it because you like spending your time kind of working on the game versus playing it? Or just not enough hours in the day? Or what is it?
This is actually slightly... the answer is a bit different. Because like, my hours are actually really high, but you don't see them on Steam. I usually play in the editor.
You play in the editor. Okay.
Yes. So my gameplay testing and running around and looking into collision things is all in editor, and that is 5 years of time, you know?
Yeah, that's your playground. Your non-public, very private playground. Yeah, Gothic gave me a tour of that little thing, and at the time it was funny. He actually... to anybody who doesn't know, the editor mode, it's very different compared to what we publicly play. There's some extra commands in there to make it easier to test and break things. One of the things that is in the editor is the ability to go super fast. And Gothic loves to go Sonic the Hedgehog and sprint across maps, including just like sprinting underwater, like Catch Me If You Can, drowning mechanic. So I'm just imagining you here trying to break things by like sprinting around the map like a lunatic. trying to test assets and break them at the spare time. That's what I think of when you say the editor. That's what I think of. Lots of super quick sprinting and flying and super jumping and things like that.
Yeah, we can do all kinds of things. But yeah, that's our playground. So our time and focus is in there, and that's thousands of hours.
Gary's lighting up again, presumably comes.
So yeah, like and you know the quote unquote downside of joining a public match is because you really need to focus, right? 1.5 hours of focus. You can't just jump in, be a medic, ignore everyone, and then leave. Just because you want to test a certain function or see how things work. So that's why for me, I just stick to the editor.
Enjoy the sandbox. Yep, I get it. Here's a good question for you. Is there an estimation of when Hell Let Loose will no longer get any content? Certainly not during Black Matter's tenure. There's no estimation of that. You guys are going to make content until, you guys are done, I imagine.
Decades. I actually don't see an end there.
Probably the beauty of live service games, don't you think? There's always room to add more if there's a will.
Like as long as people enjoy playing the game, like to see new content, it will go on, I guess, forever.
Right on top of it on the other side of the
It's new fronts, new maps. I just saw Jason asking about different fronts.
Yes, more fronts. That's Kufu right there, asking about some new loadouts, different weapons, and there's, different fronts out there. Yep, people are always naturally curious about new content for the game.
Jason also, Africa and Italy. If there is, if people want it, why not? It can always be looked into. Over the next,
but it's by
forever, right? There is no end.
Yeah, I'm dead. They are getting very close to that, Garrison.
Well, there you go. That's a pretty darn good answer. I will add to that answer, guys, by saying that Team 17 did do a live stream in June. I think it was June 28th. And they gave a very similar answer to what Danny just did. And they are the key holders and inheritors of the game now that they've purchased the rights to it. Their easiest and simplest phrase they gave, which ties into what Danny just said, is right now they're in a mode of never say never. In other words, they are willing to look into anything, and short of any technical limits, they're willing to expand. I just got freaking murdered. They're willing to look into almost anything for you guys if the demand for the community is enough. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, is they want you guys to keep playing the game. They want to get new people playing the game. They want the current players to play the game more often. So keep that in mind for the future of the game, is as long as you guys have wishes and the game's popular enough, there's no earthly reason for them to stop.
Exactly.
So do keep that in mind. Machine Gun says, "We love you, Danny. Keep up the good work, and thanks for giving us your time." Yeah, I'll definitely second that. It's buddy, let me tell you something. 8 months ago, when I got absolutely screwed over by my ISP and did not get a chance to have a sit-down chat with you like this, that was the most devastating day of my streaming life. And the fact that I've been able to pull this off today with you is an absolute blessing, my man.
Always, man.
Is there anything that you can talk about right now? I mean, yeah, obviously, when we get to chat with you day in and day out, you talk to us and say that you're mainly working on Update 13 currently. We know it's Update 14 stuff. And that, you know, it's obviously in the asset department. Is there any hints or small things that you can give us to expand on what you might be working on right now? Or is there anything that you can connect to generally in the roadmap about what you are currently working on? For example, an asset maybe for, say, Kharkov. We know that Kharkov is a thing. Or if maybe it's an asset for a British thing. Something that, you know, just a little thing for the community to get excited about there?
I cannot actually answer that, but I can say it's going to, again, amaze people.
Alright, it's going to amaze people, okay.
You know, like just like the surprise of the landing ships.
Yes.
You know, the content that is being made is, again, going to... yeah, really amaze and going to make lots of people happy and enthusiastic and give lots of people, again, dozens of hours of fun. Hundreds, thousands, I don't know. It's
Alright, chat, well, you heard it here first then. We don't know exactly what it's going to be, but it's something that's going to amaze the crap out of you guys, so get ready to be amazed. There you go. Smokey the Bear wants so it's a bit confusing. Is Black Matter's time developing definitely coming to a close? It is. Yes, it is. It's not, there's no official pomp and circumstance announcement, guys, but it is definitely coming to a close. They have a contract that's coming up in June. And we already know that Team 17 is already hired for a lot of new positions, including main positions for the game, like they want a new game director. That's Max. That's literally Max right now. He's the director of the game. He sets the direction of the game. He's the director. They're hiring for key positions for Hell Let Loose right now on Team 17's website, including looking for a game director. And that is the sharpest indication that that Black Matter's time is coming to a close for Hell Let Loose, and it has been a hell of a journey so far. We've already know that Danny's favorite thing that he's worked on so far has been the boat, which took 3 years in the making for it.
just
to have the opportunity of it. Yeah, it was 1.5 days to actually make the darn thing, but you had to wait 3 years to get the freaking permission to do so. So, with that in mind, I guess we can leave it on a positive note and say to the rest of the community, you still got a few more tricks up your sleeve to amaze and wow everybody before that time comes to a close then?
They're starting to take the next point, our medic included.
I guess that would be the fun way to look at it there.
But until then,
I'd rather have a good game than realism overtake it. Yeah.
you know?
Yep, I agree with you guys there on that. Oh, man. Well, it's been a hell of a journey, guys. I'll tell you that much.
That is so cool.
Oh, man. Hell of a journey. Well, I tell you what, Danny, you want to join me for a game or two at this point? I feel like we have definitely talked your gorgeous lungs out at this point if you feel like playing a round or so. I've still got another hour or two on my stream if you want to play together for a bit.
Yeah, sure, I'll join in, but yeah, I 2 games is going to be quite long.
2 games are going to be quite long. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Let me think about this.
Right?
Oh, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I forgot. You're in the Netherlands. Yeah, to anybody that doesn't know, Danny's Dutch. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and even though it's a launch day, he works. He was working today. Teal was working today. All these developers were working today. Yeah, if you actually have to get to bed, buddy, like, I do not blame you whatsoever. It's been a long, beautiful day.
Join in one of your matches. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. All right, guys. One game with DannyArt. To any of you guys who want to get in on some of the action here, feel free to go ahead. Go ahead and join the server. We just ended a match, so now it's a perfect time to queue in. Here is the name of the server we'll be playing on. It's my personal server here. The next map... Let me go ahead and check our rotation for today. The next map is going to be Foy Warfare at night. How beautiful is that? It's going to be like Christmas up in here. Love it. It's going to be like Christmas up in here. Hoping I can get back into this game soon. I miss it. Hey, Voice of Mike. Miss you, buddy. Jason says, Danny, my dog wants to be in the game. She says, woof.
Nice, yeah. You know,
oh, man. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Let's chat about that in DM, right?
For how long we are playing, Argento, yeah, we're gonna play on Foy, and that's gonna be Danny's. Danny does have to go to bed, but he's willing to play one game with us. He's gonna do one late night game, and play with us and whatnot. So you guys can hang out and play with them. We played with Paleo earlier today, and Teal, and now you guys get a chance to play with Danny here for this one. So go for it.